All right, everybody, good morning and welcome to another video podcast of Political News Time. I am your host, Alex Mayers. I hope that all of you out there are having a wonderful morning. I let my birds out today, so if you see one fly by, don't be alarmed. I'm hoping that will help them be a little bit more calm this morning so that they don't interrupt this podcast so much, right? So, I think that this morning I want to talk about this potential recession that may come about due to the issues that our political administration is having with China as of current. This morning I was actually catching up with the entire thing via MSNBC. I was watching the Hardball with Chris Matthews replay. And as I'm sure many of you are aware, Trump over the past, I think two days or so, has raised the tariffs on Chinese products to about 30%. All right. I have a few theories in regards to what's really going on here that I'm going to share. And I do tend to be a little Twilight Zone, so whatever. That's what Political News Time is. It's my own brand of political commentary. But first, I do want to say, Republicans, I want my freaking Chinese goods, okay? They have substantially improved over the years. And when it comes to this weak attempt, I suppose, to, play the big bad schoolyard kid who's going to go after China and be like, haha, I'm going to push you into submission. It's not, I just don't think that it's going to happen. Not at least with this particular president. I get it. A lot of people think that, he's some sort of a brilliant businessman despite his other apparent issues, such as believing that he's God. And I do see actually how I just see what Trump's doing. First off, from my perspective, Trump and the Republicans are trying to create a situation to where perhaps they do start to make a bit of headway with China. But the reality is that we are almost to the next presidential election. So even if we do make some progress in regards to dealing with China and maybe getting them to stop with the intellectual property theft, maybe get them to... I don't know. I mean, really, China doesn't have to do a damn thing that the United States asks because, I mean, they are like the second largest economy. They're the first largest consumer economy, at least. And America is dependent upon them. China's kind of like, they're like our drug dealer. And we're hooked on their products. Our agriculture industry and so many other industries, actually, in the United States are very dependent upon receiving dollars from China because they do consume so much of our goods and our resources, to where even if Trump does appeal to President Xi on a certain level, there's no way that he could finish what he starts unless he gets reelected. But I think that is the chessboard that our current political administration is attempting to set up. Something I was really thinking about when it comes to trying to make a deal business-wise with a person that is of a higher status than you are. And, that is what Trump and the Republican administration seems to be trying to do with China. One thing that you may do is try to appeal to their vanity. You may try to even do things that reflect that person that you're trying to make a deal with. You might say to yourself, hey, look at me, I'm trying to be like you. And when I look at a lot of the ethnocentric and racist rhetoric that has picked up over the past few years since Trump has been in office, a lot of that is very similar to the Chinese mentality. I guess we don't think about the Chinese in this particular capacity when it comes to the Chinese living in China, but they're an incredibly ethnonationalist society. They're very xenophobic. Extremely so. They haven't let outsiders in for years. I mean, think about something. For centuries, China has had the Great Wall of China, right? And the purpose of the Great Wall of China was not to attract tourists, but to keep out the Mongolians, to keep the Mongolians and other foreign people from invading their country, right? And then here we are today, having this trade war with China, and Trump is pushing for this Great Wall of America to be built between America and Mexico. So do you see a little something here? It's almost as if Trump and his administration are trying to reflect everything that China is culturally. You know, but not be Chinese, but be white. That's what, because that's what they're trying to make America. You know, when they say make America great again, that does, at least from my perspective, seem to be code for make America white again. There was even some politician, I think, up in the Michigan area who was just reported for saying that she wanted to keep her town as white as possible. That would never have been said 4 years ago, but people are feeling emboldened to say such things now. So, yeah, it just seems to me like Trump is trying to set a stage to where he could go and have a meeting with President Xi and be like, you know what? You're such a great guy, and I want to be just like you. And since I have been in office, I have been just trying to clean up America. You know, I'm building a wall like y'all have. We're going to have the Great Wall of America, and you all have the Great Wall of China. We're going to try to kick out all the brown people, and we're going to be xenophobic and an ethnonationalist society, kind of like y'all are. And maybe one day we can be just as successful as y'all are. So, you know what, President Xi, could you just give us a little break? Maybe, you know, ease up on that giant deficit and whatnot between us. Maybe you could lower some of the prices of your goods to us for a while, because as long as I'm in office, think of America as Xi's America, President Xi's America, not the United States of America. That's what I think Trump would essentially say to that man. Yeah, it was just a thought I had. Probably doesn't make a lot of sense to many of you, but it was just something I wanted to talk about, because here on Political News Time, I like to talk about some of everything, and I wanted to get away from what I spoke about in my previous podcast, because that has become stale very quickly. But, yeah, anyways, I think that Trump is just basically trying to start something that he can't possibly finish in his term. And, you know, it's also possible that he just doesn't really want to have another term, so he's screwing everything up on purpose. I'm going to go ahead and let that be it for this particular podcast, unless anybody has any questions. But remember, you can always tune into Political News Time and watch the archives for free on politicalnewstime.com. I'm here at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every morning. And I'll see y'all later.